We need to make sure that we're running the data analytics on the useful data and not necessarily all the data.
You're listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, the place to learn about new technology and technological advances before they become mainstream. This podcast is sponsored by D-Link Technology. Make your home smarter, safer, and truly seamless. Let's get into it.
In a previous podcast, I asked Ingram Micro's Chief Country Executive, Kirk Robinson, what he's most excited about in the next space of technology, and his answer was IoT. With all the technology you're surrounded in, what is kind of the thing you're most excited about in the next space of technology?
I think IoT, there's a lot of conversation around it, and it's still early stages, but everything going there and what ties into it with AI, machine learning, RPAs, and data.
So, of course, we had to do an episode focusing on the excitement of IoT. Welcome to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. I'm your host, Kerry Roberts, and our guest today is Eric Hembree, the Director of IoT at Ingram Micro, where he leads the U.S. go-to-market team. He's responsible for leading the overall vision, development strategy, and execution of the Internet of Things businesses and go-to-market programs. Welcome, Eric. So excited to have you here today.
Excited to be here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So today we're going to be discussing how IoT affects your business. Before we get into it, can you describe for us really clear and easily what IoT is and what has contributed to its growth recently?
There is no easy answer to describe it, I guess. The way I view IoT is that it should be seamless. You should almost not even know it's even there, but the impacts of it should be monumental. IoT is very fascinating for me because it allows us to have that disruptive angle into the business that we haven't had since the proliferation of cloud, right, about 10 years ago. So to me, it's about generating data. It's about generating new workflows and thinking about how technology can solve our problems in a different manner.
And how do you think it's just become more prevalent in the recent years?
Well, I think the technology is one thing. I mean, we're starting to see a lot of advancements around sensor technology. Past 5 years, we've seen sensors evolve from these kind of innocuous devices that need constant attention and batteries to be replaced to now we have batteryless sensors that are out there. So that expense has really gone down and added to a lot of the growth that we've seen in this area. A lot of other things too around 5G coming out. That's really led to a lot of the advancements and a lot of people have been kind of holding their breath waiting for 5G to really build out IoT. Well, 5G isn't the silver bullet for IoT. There's a lot of different other applications that can be leveraged in this space without even having that 5G discussion.
And, when I think of IoT, I think from a consumer standpoint, smart home devices, things of that nature. Can you give some specific examples or use cases of how IoT could solve problems in new ways for a business?
I think it depends on the vertical that we're talking about. We have a number of different verticals that we align to at Ingram Micro. We have retail as one of them. We have smart cities, smart buildings. And, what's great about that is that, there's a lot of overlap between the solutions that we offer. So, for instance, if you think of large industrial manufacturing as an example, where you have a large shop floor, they're building 1,000 widgets an hour, and you need to understand what the uptime is going to be on your robotic arms that are completing these tasks day in and day out.
And I know recently you had said in an interview that a lot of companies are missing a channel strategy when it comes to IoT. Can you talk about what that means? And if you can, describe an example of a great channel strategy for a business.
Yeah, when we talk about our partners in IoT, they're very smart, they're very talented, and they understand what IoT is from a technology standpoint. What I always like to reinforce is that IoT is not a technology sale, it's a business sale. We need them to think differently about how they're going to engage their customers and how they're going to solve their customers' problems differently. So with IoT specifically, when we talk about channel strategy, a lot of our partners don't know what they don't know. They need help and understand what's possible. And with our approach, our channel strategy to lead with end-to-end solutions, that helps paint the picture for our partners, for them to have that conversation with their end users. So really, we've developed a lot of our marketing from an end user up approach to where we have a ton of BI data on who our customers, Ingram Micro's customers, are selling into, and we backdoor that within the opportunity. So I'll give you an example. We have a commercial refrigeration monitoring solution that's out there. And what we've done is that we've done some internal BI and taken a look at who those end customers are, because we drop ship product to them every single day. And we classify them a certain way in our systems so that we can quickly find out who would have, let's just say, a refrigeration monitoring or commercial refrigeration unit in their location. So this could be any hospitality, hotel, any sort of gaming and entertainment center, medical labs, right, where they need to keep specimens cold. We can match them up to a particular reseller who sold them gear before, and we can go to that reseller and say, hey, here's a unique opportunity for you to go out and get incremental revenues from just by positioning this out in this space. So we do an end user first approach where we match the end user to the opportunity to the reseller.
Which is great. And I know another question a lot of companies have is, how do you kind of set up those sensors initially for IoT? Can you provide some insight on how to do that?
When we talked earlier about, the advancements of these sensors, a lot of them are largely plug and play, meaning that, depending on the environment, you can just zip tie them to a rack in a warehouse or put some double-sided tape to put them right on the output of an HVAC system to monitor the temperature and vibration of that. So a lot of these sensors just attach directly to relatively easily, what they're monitoring. Another example is Buddy. Buddy's a little bit more unique because they monitor the energy output and in a facility, right? So these are actually clips that clip around the main power lines running from an electrical breaker panel. So that's a little bit different. So you don't need to be an electrical engineer, though, or you don't even need to hire an electrician to do it. It's relatively simple to do. But if you're not familiar, I want to go poking around a breaker panel box and risk shocking yourself. But again, the point is that these sensors are largely plug and play. They're relatively easy to install, and our partners need to understand the simplicity around it. But listen, if they need help, or if they're not comfortable going into that space, or if it's simply a scalability issue where they may have the capabilities, but they don't have the bandwidth to facilitate a deployment, we can help them through our IM-Link services.
Hey everyone, we hope you're enjoying this episode of B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. Let's pause for a moment to recognize our sponsor, D-Link Systems. Are network speeds slowing you down or security risks top of mind? Talk with D-Link Systems. Leverage award-winning products and deploy networks that are second to none with D-Link wireless, surveillance, and switching solutions. Contact Ashley Ruggiero at Ingram Micro today. That's Ashley, ASHLEY.Ruggiero, RUGGERIO at ingrammicro.com. Also, before we jump straight back to today's episode, we want to share with you another resource you're going to want to check out. Did you know that you could start your guided journey through PartnerTrack today? It's the tool that eliminates uncertainty in the IT channel. You can access meaningful content, get trained on new tech, and attend networking events, all while getting rewarded. Register now at ingrammicropartnertrack.com. All right, let's get back to the show.
One of the great things about IoT, which you had mentioned earlier, was the data that you get from it. Can you speak a little bit about how we can get clean data, the right data that we need from IoT?
It all comes down to edge compute, because IoT generates an enormous amount of data. And when you think about it, the amount of petabytes of data that are going to be generated in the next couple of years, we need to make sure that we're running the data analytics on the useful data and not necessarily all the data. So when we talk about edge compute software, we have a company called Clearblade, who we recently entered into a partnership with, where their platform is light enough to run on like a Raspberry Pi. So they can have a light version deployed out at the edge on the gateway itself and run data analytics and only send the important information back up into the cloud to run deeper analysis and create deeper dashboards.
I mean, that's great. That's incredible to see where all of this is going. And I know Ingram Micro has quite a few resources for those that want to learn more about IoT, including you have a site for all things IoT at iot.ingrammicro.com, as well as a practice builder program. Can you tell us a little bit more about how businesses can utilize these?
Absolutely. So our website is really our starting point. It shows all of our solutions broken up by vertical. It shows our kits, our components, our vendors that we've partnered with and that we have onboarded. And we continue to add information to that all the time. That also talks to our IoT University, where it is our customized e-learning content specific for our partners to take advantage of and leverage. They can also engage with my team directly from that site. They can send us a note to engage or an email to engage with us, and we can we're ready and willing to jump on a phone and talk through whatever that opportunity is. You mentioned our practice builder program. We're really excited about this because we've been spending the last few months, dialing in exactly what we want this to look like, and really it's a process, right, where we do a self-evaluation, our partners do a self-evaluation of their own capabilities, but then we go on site with them and spend half a day or longer taking that hard look in the mirror about their current capabilities. And if they said they rated themselves as a 5 as far as integration services, that's great. We don't think that they're lying to us, but we want to better understand what type of work they've done before so that we can potentially leverage that capability and that expertise that they already have for other partners to take advantage of through our IM Link program. So it's all about creating this continuous ecosystem of partners and mindshare, because with how complex IoT is, when all of the different technologies that can be leveraged, from dashboard integration to system integration and app development and custom engagements, that can be daunting for partners to think of. The simple fact is that Ingram Micro is their one-stop shop to come to for partners and to leverage existing capabilities that are already out there, so they don't feel that they have to create everything from scratch themselves.
Yeah, I think the level of education that Ingram Micro provides is phenomenal. And I know another thing that you are all doing is an in-person summit, September 4th through 5th, 2019 in Irvine, California. Can you tell listeners a little bit about what to expect, who will be there, who should attend, what it will be all about?
Yeah, we're really excited. It's our first ever event dedicated to all things IoT. I mean, we've shown up at our Cloud Summit and our One events, but this is strictly IoT content from start to finish. It's we're calling it a day plus event, where it starts on the 4th with a welcome reception, and then all day on the 5th we have content with keynotes and industry leader speakers from Microsoft and Cisco and other vendor partners that are sponsored there. Then in the afternoon, we have a number of different breakouts broken up by specific tracks that they can go attend. Meanwhile, while that's happening, we also have our tech fair and our solution showcase, where folks can come in. We invite them to bring their end users as well to take a look at the solutions live, see the demos, feel the demos, understand the different components that make up the solution firsthand, so that they can better understand how they can take these solutions to market.
Now, for you personally, you've been doing this for quite some time. Where do you see technology going in the next year?
I think we're going to start to see some consolidation around, some of the smaller players in IoT. And what I mean by that is that with everything being so customized, we have a lot of great tech that's out there, but a lot of them aren't set up to be managed in the channel effectively. And that's really where the growth is going to be with IoT, is through the channel, through these partnerships. So I think that we're going to start to see some of the bigger players bring in and acquire some of these edge technologies that are very specific to fill a gap that they may have currently. So mass consolidation from that standpoint, but we're also going to continue to see innovation in this space, because one drawback to IoT is that, it always gets a stigma of lack of standardization across the board. We're seeing that be addressed in some areas, but we're also seeing a number of ways to kind of limit that and streamline everything. Simple matter is that IoT is secured exactly the same way that you would secure your existing infrastructure. The concepts remain the same. You have to protect from the edge on up, and we have services and experts that can help craft that perfect solution for you.
I love that. Now, if people want to connect with you personally to just ask questions about IoT as a whole, or if they want to learn more about the things that Ingram Micro offers along the topics of IoT, where can they do that?
They can go to our website, as you mentioned, iot.ingrammicro.com. They can engage with my team directly. If they wanted to talk to me directly, I'm all over LinkedIn. I actually have LinkedIn pulled up on my computer right now, just checking out the new post and news that's out there. They can find me on LinkedIn, and happy to engage and have those discussions there. Thank you so much, Eric, for being here. We greatly appreciate it. It's been a pleasure, Carrie. If you like this episode or have a question, join the discussion on Twitter at Ingram TechSoul with the hashtag B2B Tech Talk. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro.
You've been listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, hosted by Kirk Robinson and sponsored by D-Link Technology. B2B Tech Talk is a joint production by Sweetfish Media and Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro production handled by Laura Burton and Christine Fan. To not miss an episode, subscribe today in your favorite podcast platform.